Hello and welcome everyone to another live post here at the Wildcat Sanctuary. We are live in our small cat track area and looking forward to highlighting this week's Miracle Match goal, which you all learned yesterday. Well, we are raising for another roof here, raising to fix another roof, that is, here at the Wildcat Sanctuary. Looking forward to talking about that, looking forward to hanging out with some of the rescues that you love so most. Of course, some residents of Small Cat Track as we talk about that roof goal. But nonetheless, happy Wednesday, happy hump day. I'm also joined by fellow, my media consigliere here at the Wildcat Sanctuary, Olivia. What's going on over there, Olivia?
We're having a caracal party. I'm pumped, but not only that, I think most of our friends here in Small Cat Track are having a party today. So lots to get excited for as we're raising for another roof, as you so aptly put.
Yeah, and kind of a good contrast from yesterday's live post where we were inside of this building. Well, now we're outside of it, so we get to see some of the free-roaming habitats that those indoor bedrooms are attached to. There's Mr. Thane rocketing out of his bedroom. And yeah, you guys know the drill when caretakers, typical Thane zoomies there. You know the drill when caretakers are doing cleaning, when they are putting in enrichment, or rather doing their cleaning, they're going to take time to place enrichment as well. And so Small Cat Track building, the Small Cat Track yards are up to bat today. So as you can see, they just had their water buckets cleaned, they just had all their poop scooped, what have you, old enrichment picked up, and now this group, along with pretty much every single cat here in Small Cat Track, Olivia, as you mentioned, is ready to enjoy some enrichment.
Yeah, and they're on the hunt for tuna right now. Aurora just found herself a stash of tuna. I think yesterday was fitting, Judson, because as you said, we introduced our goal for this week, which is raising money for a new roof for Small Cat Track, but it really was fitting because yesterday was a rainy day. So being inside, seeing what that roof does so well, which is offer our cats shelter, and then on a day like today where maybe the weather is a little bit nicer, but after all this hubbub, this group I know for sure is going to head inside for a cuddle puddle. So just a further extension of what that roof provides, shelter, but also comfort here at Sanctuary.
Shelter, comfort, security, all the things that we pride ourselves on, and the types of things that we owe it to our rescues here at the Wildcat Sanctuary. Welcome everyone. Happy Wednesday, happy Miracle Match, of course. It's one of those days on Facebook where it doesn't want to show me your comments. I know you guys are always joining the conversation here on our live post at the Wildcat Sanctuary, but sometimes, Facebook is just a pain in the butt sometimes. But nonetheless, still comment, still let your voice be heard. I still am optimistic that maybe some of these comments will show up and we can get a conversation going here.
I can also check here, Judson, but I have to mention, I'm giggling at Thane behind us because his tail is all puffed up. The wind is blowing and all the little pieces of enrichment are blowing too, and he is so excited. I'm just waiting for those zoomies to set in again. He's kind of trying to decide where to go next, and it's making me laugh.
I got a puffed up tail, and exactly. I mean, I think the visual enrichment is kind of one of the things, Olivia. It's it's simple, but it's outside of some of the yards. So that visual enrichment definitely goes a long ways to keeping cats like Thane puzzling. Obviously, we don't want to scare him or anything like that, and so caretakers will be sure to monitor and make sure that he is having a positive reaction to this enrichment.
This is not fear. This is Thane, knowing Thane. I think that's the other thing to mention too, is that we know our cats so well. Thane's little body language right now, he's so perky, and he really is kind of trying to decide where he's going to go next. I think maybe another thing about that roof, to plug in the roof, if he was afraid, he'd probably go in his indoor bedroom. So he's really just taking in the sights here.
Yeah, I'm going to assess the situation. I'm going to take the Thane route and be calculated with it, and then eventually go head over heels with it.
Well, I was just going to say, I have comments, but it looks like you have comments,
I was going to say, I got a few comments that rolled in here, and welcome to those who are just joining us still, and those who are commenting away. There's Tanya Toner saying shared this post. Thank you, Tanya. Getting the word out. Let's see. There's Faith tagging Kristen Strong, getting excited about Mr. Mojave the caracal. Furfosa, greetings from New York City. Beautiful cats. Well, greetings, Furfosa. I'm glad to have you with us. Jill Finney getting excited that you had the privilege of meeting those gorgeous cats on your last Tourism More Day. Would that be the Caracals, Jill? And awesome. That's so wonderful to hear. And that's such a great reward and then some for Jill. You're kicking butt, getting wet, doing dishes, lifting things, this that on your Chores and More shift. And good eye, Olivia. And to get a little cat time in. That sounds like a good way to just feel good after a long Chores and More shift.
And thank you for volunteering.
Well, of course,
Volunteer
Jill.
Appreciation Month.
That is right.
That's a good little plug in too. I'm enjoying seeing also not only the cats take on the enrichment, but seeing the creative places our caretakers have placed these little tuna blobs, and I've been seeing cats go up on trees here, a tree stump right now. It's kind of fun to see where the caretakers thought it might be challenging for our caracals here.
Yeah, and I think, I like the word challenging, Olivia. I think that there's kind of a loaded meaning to that. Mm-hmm. We don't want to make it impossible. No. We don't want to make it dangerous. You don't see them putting tuna halfway up the tree to encourage, a Mira Mojave or Aurora to climb, 10 plus feet off the ground, but still challenging enough that we're getting, we're wanting to get that brain, crunching and thinking, and obviously always acknowledging the fact that, though we're happy the types of spaces we offer our rescues, they are still living in a captive environment. And, to make these types of enrichment, forays challenging, like you said, Olivia, but not too challenging.
Yes. Still want them to have a win.
Yes, we want them to have a win, but we want them to also, it's kind of like the feeling we all felt maybe in grade school when we're doing homework and we know we could take an easy way out or we could do it the hard way. And usually the hard way is usually the best way, Olivia. Yes. Most learnings are taken away from the hard way over the easy way. And yeah, same kind of idea there. Challenging but not impossible, Mr. Mojave.
Hi, handsome. He's taking a break. He's seeing what his neighbors are up to, maybe for a moment.
Yeah.
His caretakers, too.
That's right. He says, well, and obviously, too, while these guys were shifted in for cleaning, they had their meal. So, I mean, cats like Mojave and all of Small Cat Track, they got the whole rest of the day in front of them. And
oh my gosh. Oh my. I knew that was going to
happen. I heard a zoom.
I think we probably all heard it. If you heard it or if you're going to watch this back, Thane just ran extremely fast right behind Judson and I from one end of the habitat to the other. Little paws pattering after his enrichment here. And it looks like he's gearing up for some more.
Get a dose of this tail here.
I know, I love it.
That is quite the tail. I heard a caretaker from a yard away saying, "Get it, Thane, get it." Because they see him in predator mode.
I laugh, but it really is incredible, and it makes my heart warm that our cats have the space to do this, and maybe you've had the safety bubble to do it too. Feel safe enough to have fun like this, but also kind of tap into their natural born instincts like Thane is here.
Yes, and so now I was wanting to get Thane's POV here, and so there's an empty bedding bag hanging, as well as some of the crepe paper tassels that you've been seeing. But I think right now, the biggest question mark for Thane is going to be that large hanging bedding bag. I think that's what's really catching his eye here.
And it took a couple minutes for him to, get whatever he needed to get to from the one end of the habitat to the other. So I'm curious what's going to start his engines again, or how long that might take. He's being very thoughtful right now.
His tail's losing a little bit of puffiness, but still certainly puffy. And a good day for enrichment like that too, adding a lot of motion to it.
Exactly.
Every time it looks like he's about to spring off, he repositions himself, and Mr. Thane, you goofball. Fun to see it. I did, Mr. Thane, as we kind of talk about our roof and this week's goal of Miracle Match, and still wild to think, Olivia, that this time next week, Miracle Match is going to be coming to an end. April 30th, and exciting that last week we were able to announce our goal, or rather the fact that we had unlocked triple donations for this last leg of Miracle Match. But I wanted to take a quick second just to kind of talk brass tacks and give, I think I'm zoomed in here, give a little bit of a visualization to some of the things I was speaking on yesterday as to what we are going to do when we replace this roof. And what we are going to do is build on top of it. We are going to put a tin roof on top of the current shingle roof that we have, that not only is the most affordable option, but the most responsible option in terms of inconveniencing the cats here in Small Cat Track. But just logistically, when you see how close this is to the building, it's pretty much right on top of the yards, as you would expect. But long and short, that just kind of reconnects back to why we're taking this route. Is it would be a very messy and a longer process if we were to re-shingle the roof, and that could mean more time for the cats to be shifted inside. That can mean potential obstructions with all the little fragments and things like that being tossed off these roof, nails included. So I thought that was just a good little moment as I was kind of standing here, Olivia, is just to understand how close the roof is to the habitats. It's not feet, it's barely inches. So when they're going to be doing that work, and the route that we've decided to take is kind of going to be the best course of action for the rescues here.
Yeah, and I think even just a tin roof will be a little hardier too than shingles. I think it'll be really a great decision long term. So I know that everybody's looking forward to that. It'll just it sounds like they're going to get it done in a single day. If it may be two, if things get delayed, but that's a super quick timeline, and really won't be any inconvenience to the cats at all.
Yes, exactly. Is that okay? It's not a very flattering spot Mojave's in right now, but he was just doing a little vocalizing. I don't know if it was to the caretakers across the way, or maybe trying to get Thane's attention. I heard that.
Yeah, we did.
I think everybody else heard it too, but I was hoping you would make that little... Could we call it
not quite a trill?
A trill? It was kind of
a meow almost.
Yeah, or the type of noise I'd make if I step on a Lego. Or
yeah,
like
exactly. That. Yeah, speaking of trilling, here's a cute little story, Judson. So the caracals are known for trilling, but the other cats that we'll see trill is our Asian leopard cats. And this morning I caught a bunch of them trilling to each other. Penelope and Eve don't live in the same group as Minerva, Aiden, and Apollo, but they're on a shared wall, and I caught them having a little morning meeting, and they were trilling to each other. So I think all of the cats across the sanctuary are feeling good with this weather, and chatting, having conversations, having good times, making memories, perhaps.
Cat communication, that's a big part of what happens here, and the unique kinds of cat communication, Olivia. ALC trilling, yes, caracal trilling. There goes Miss Aurora hiking around. Mojave's a little more concerned about getting his people's attention. He says, I'll take my second meal of the day, thank you very much.
Thane is still in the same exact spot as he was before, still puzzling out the bag.
I am, Olivia. I'm hoping that we can maybe visit Ava and the Peppers right here. Small Cat Track Wi-Fi, everyone, not to jinx us, but sometimes it can be a little iffy, so please bear with us. If it does get a little scratchy, because we'll just make a U-turn and come back this direction. But all of the yards here in Small Cat Track were wonderfully decorated with enrichment after their cleaning, so I would love to kind of continue on here and see who's enjoying themselves. I see Ava of Ava and the Peppers. And Olivia, why don't you do it the hard way and go on to your phone and see if anybody's commenting, and
I can do
maybe
that.
you can reply, maybe you can acknowledge any gifts that have been given towards this week's goal of a new roof over Small Cat Track. I don't want to miss anything like that. I can tell that this group had some tuna placed as well, and they are puzzling around. There's Mr. Jalapeno, looking handsome as ever. I think he's such a fine-looking serval.
I'm not getting a lot of comments, Judson. Kind of what I'm seeing is very general good morning.
Okay.
So good morning to all of you. And then Tanya asking, how can you tell who's who of the Caracals? And I think that applies to this group too. But I think for the media team, it's the same but slightly different as caretakers. I think the media team maybe has a slight advantage because we're looking at pictures of cats all day. So not only are we coming out and seeing and noticing the finer nuances of each individual cat, like maybe this cat has an ear tip or this cat has a different mark on their nose. But we're also looking at pictures, so we notice those things in pictures. So I know that over time, you very quickly learn. Our media interns, Victoria and Kao Yang, as any other media interns, they actually get tested on their knowledge. We make sure that they are able to identify cats. And then similarly, for animal care interns and, of course, caretakers, they need to be able to identify cats to make sure everybody's getting the right stuff when mealtime comes around, and medication, of course. So that was a very long-winded answer to say they have slight differences between them. We notice those, and if we struggle to identify, we like to share our little tips and tricks with each other. So Mojave, I identify him because his eyebrows look different, kind of his eyelids, how they sit on his eyes look different than the girls. Aurora has a bit more white markings on her. Mira has darker features, and then this group, I tell them apart by their nose markings.
Okay, looking at the, servals, you're looking at nose patterns, you're kind of looking at the facial features. For the caracals, always, the first place I'll go is eye shape.
Yeah.
Obviously, Tanya, I think you raise a good point when you ask that question is, it's hard to maybe distinguish a cat, that's all brown and, maybe doesn't have a unique stripe like a tiger may have, or, maybe a more identifiable characteristic like a mane, like a lion would have as well. So definitely little tools that we use. It feels like everywhere I go, Olivia, the cats go the opposite way. Definitely little tools that we use, and hey, it's a practice. I will never forget, probably on my first or second day, just walking. Hey, Chili, I can't believe I missed you.
Oh wow, I missed you too.
Just walking around with Gina and her, essentially saying, "Yep, you are certainly going to be responsible for knowing every single one of these cats and their faces and their names and how to identify them." And just imagining that, and to think that we only had about 100 rescues, 110 rescues or so at that time. There's a lot of brain capacity for cat IDs here.
Judson, I'm seeing 2 comments that are definitely worth addressing.
Yeah.
First, Carol Hendricks said that you did 2 new cat sponsorships yesterday and that you did it for triple match. So that is so awesome, Carol.
Carol,
and thank you.
Huge. That is so amazing, Carol. Did she mention who?
No, so Carol, I can't guarantee that I'll see it, but why don't you drop a comment and say who you either renewed or added to your sponsor family, because yes, renewals are also tripled to all of you sponsor parents out there. So I'm curious to know who got the renewed or new sponsorship yesterday. But that's awesome, Carol, and thank you.
Carol, thank you. You're helping out with everything here at the Sanctuary in a variety of ways. Sponsorship being an incredibly important way for you to give your support, and knowing that you capitalized on that support and had it triple matched by renewing that sponsorship. There's a lot of appreciation to give and a lot of thanks to give, and you deserve it all. So thank you, Carol.
And then another comment, slightly different, but can you pet any of the cats to give them love, and thank you for taking such good care of them? Well, first of all, thank you for being on this live post and for appreciating the cats and their beauty, and again, thanking us for what we do. But no, we do not pet the cats here. We are a no-contact sanctuary, meaning we don't enter enclosures with the cats, we don't pet them, and more so the overarching answer is we don't treat them as pets because they're wild animals. So Chili here knows that Judson and I are going to stay on the other end of the fence, and that we aren't going to impose ourselves upon him. As we kind of like to say, we'd never expect a wild animal not to act like a wild animal, and we never want them to pay consequences for their instincts. So setting an example here at the Wildcat Sanctuary to treat wild animals as wild animals, but more so just giving the cats the respect they deserve. But good question, and thank you for asking it.
Yeah, and definitely something too, if you begin to follow us, as you'll learn, is that we're wanting to educate on the reason as to why some of these rescues are coming here to the Wildcat Sanctuary. We want to educate how to prevent this flow of cats into captivity. And if a place like us here at the Wildcat Sanctuary, who's taking in these cats and rescuing them and is helping to stem the flow of these cats in the sanctuary, we would never want to mislead or go against some of the things that we're saying and telling and wanting to help prevent by treating these cats like pets and touching them and interacting with them. There's a lot of different reasons that we are obviously not coming into contact with these cats, but I think that's an important one too, as we're here to uphold a standard, we're here to set a standard of what are appropriate pets. And so that's the last thing we'd want to do here at the Wildcat Sanctuary, is try to sabotage that standard by going against the things that we're preaching.
Well, and then Chili here, you didn't catch it, Judson, but offering a good example of why, also another reason why he doesn't make a good pet. Chili just marking a tree as he's walking along. These are wild animals, and they go to the bathroom where they please. So I thought that was a good example too.
Yes.
I got a response from Carol. She sponsored, I love this answer, Dolly and Benny, because you got to meet them on Saturday at your first volunteer shift, and you fell in love with them. Well, that's awesome. The little Bengal duo we have.
Those two are in cahoots and then some, Carol.
Yes.
I was down just kind of working on some stuff with Tammy this morning. They're in the downstairs part of the animal care center, and I had to turn the sink on, but I noticed that it wasn't one Bengal telling me to turn the sink on, it was the other Bengal. Dahlia was telling me to turn it on, and usually it's Benny. So Benny's really some of his favorite daily activities, like drinking out of the human sink, as well. It's now become some of Dahlia's favorite daily activities. So Carol, thank you for supporting that habit and oh so many in Dahlia and Benny's rescued life here. Oh, look at Mr. Chili engaging with the enrichment. And it's worth acknowledging, too, if maybe some of you are new to us and you see Mr. Chili. Chili is one of our tripod residents, and Chili is, I can't fit through there. Chili is one of our critical care cats, where when Chili came to us, he came with severe metabolic bone disease. As a matter of fact, genetic metabolic bone disease. A lot of the times when our rescues are coming with metabolic bone disease, it's because of poor diet. Well, the breeding that was happening where Chili and his family was rescued from had been so poor for so long that the metabolic bone disease had essentially been bred into Chili. So long and short, Chili has had some complications due to that genetic metabolic bone disease, including some fractures in his rear legs. We were able to help him out and repair one of those legs, but also in that process, Mr. Chili had injured another one of his legs beyond repair. And I say beyond repair because typically we might be able to save a cat in that situation. But due to the metabolic bone disease, due to the lack of structural integrity to the bones, and we weren't able to repair Mr. Chili like we maybe normally could have with another cat that didn't have metabolic bone disease. So Mr. Chili did have to have that leg amputated, and knowing that that other leg was already compromised with the previous fracture, which then just kind of circles back to why Chili is one of our critical care cats, is we monitor him daily, and we make sure that he's comfortable, and we make sure that he's still able to have a sense of dignity, but we're still going to look at Chili with compassion and be able to understand that how is his mobility, what is his quality of life, and long and short, that's something we're assessing on a daily basis, which is why he falls into that category of one of our critical care rescues.
Yeah, I think one of our pillars, Judson, here at the Wildcat Sanctuary that means a lot to me is that this is not maybe verbatim, but basically we're about quality of life and not quantity of life. And part of compassionate care is compassionate end-of-life decisions. So Chili's not at that point, day by day, like Judson said, but I think even just seeing Chili right here on this live post, he's interacting with Enrichment, he's interacting with his family members, he had a full meal, I know that he gets physical therapy most days, so maybe he looks a little bit different, but it's definitely worth acknowledging that our caretaker team does such a good job with him and is looking out for him each day.
Exactly so. So, yep, he may look a little bit different than some of his other siblings walking around, but as far as we're acknowledging, that he's still happy and, healthy to the best that Chili can be healthy, and that, he's still getting to do the Chili things that he deserves to do. Hi, Miss Ava. I know, I wanted to hang out with you guys. I was like, should I go back to the Caracals? I said, no, I want to hang out with Ava and the Peppers. Favorite band here at the Wildcat Sanctuary.
And little divas behind you. I feel like we should hang out with these guys a little bit longer, but maybe try our chances with the Wi-Fi.
Yeah, the caretaking team, they were cleaning the 2 front yards. They cleaned kind of the back part of the horseshoe here in Small Cat Track. So yeah, I'd imagine that they are probably done with those 2 yards. We can see what Scarlet and Diva and Zambuca are doing.
Yeah.
A little bit of Noonda, a little bit of Phoenix, a little bit of Lizzie.
Some Serval time. I like it, especially with the sun out. These solar-powered Servals.
Solar-powered Servals. I love saying that. And Olivia, as we do our little trots, why don't you jump back into those comments, see if we can see anything. I appreciate that.
Might have been a little finicky as well, but let's see if it maybe jump starts for me.
Alrighty. Really a beautiful day, everyone, here at the Wildcat Sanctuary. Really, so much of I would say, just an iconic spring week here at the Wildcat Sanctuary. Kind of starting all 3 days so far with a little bit of rain and then kind of giving way to some sun. So certainly some April showers, and I'm looking forward to some May flowers.
Does Dahlia use her outside voice too? Tracy asks. I understand Benny will demand the faucet be turned on using his outdoor voice. And Tracy, what you're referring to, well, I like to say that Benny does a daily scream. Benny does really like to use his vocal cords. He is a true Bengal. He is loud. He is proud. Dahlia is... She's kind of squeaky. She's kind of like a mouse. She's very vocal. It's not to say that she's not as vocal as Benny, but it doesn't come out as boisterous as maybe his voice does. Yes.
I think, that's certainly something that is associated with the Bengal breed, as their ability to vocalize. Benny is, has really solidified himself as that, having that Bengal trait or characteristic. Yeah, Dahlia's a little bit more mousy or a little bit more quiet, so it seems like it's just the difference between the two. And even Victoria and Cao Yang, who are maybe a little unfamiliar with, Benny, to an extent, since we're upstairs, they're downstairs in Buka. They've even been pretty surprised as we've been sitting in our office. And
my comments are not being too friendly with me either, Judson, but I did see that one.
Okay. That's fine. We're doing our best here. I'm seeing some, looks like it's having a little bit of a revival here.
Good.
So I'll be able to answer a few as well as we kind of wind down on our live thus far. Looking across the way into Thane's yard, I can tell they're doing a little work in Onyx and Ozark's yard.
Speaking of Onyx and Ozark, I know that Saunter parents would have gotten an update. And I'm sure we'll go into it more on social media, but I did see Miss Onyx out this morning enjoying her yard, having a good day. Ozark, I think that what I've heard from caretakers is that Onyx is more of an outdoor gal, Ozark's more of an indoor gal, and that seemed to be the case this morning when I did my little rounds.
All right, we like to hear it, and it's a good time of year to start enjoying the wonderful, fresh northern Minnesota air, Olivia.
Mm-hmm. There's Diva.
Hello, Miss Diva. All right, I'm going to zoom in on her, and I'm going to see if I can answer a few questions, or rather acknowledge a few comments. Faith, I appreciate that. I posted the link for Chili if anyone wants to read his story. Oh, and what an important story to read. I think that touches so many things, not only about the kind of the cost of care when it comes to caring for some of our rescues and the condition they arrive at sanctuary at. I think it just lends to help us understand the small cat crisis. I think it lends us to help us understand a little bit more about the people breeding and selling these cats and how little they actually care for the well-being of the animal and how much more they care about making a profit. So Chili's story has a lot of value and then some. So I appreciate you linking that to everyone, Faith, and I appreciate it even more for those going to learn more about Chili. Sandifer, I'm always I should just stick with the last initial, Olivia.
Yeah.
Hi, Judson Olivia. Love that the Servals and Caracals have such wide open spaces to live in. So do we, Lay, and it's thanks to you for making that all possible for our cats. Maria P. saying, thank you for doing all you could to save Chili and gave him a great caring life at TWS. Thank you for saying that, Maria, and that's the thing. We want to do everything within our power for our rescues. That's every single one of our rescues. That we would do the same for the largest lion to the smallest hybrid, and that's a standard that we have here for our rescues at the Wildcat Sanctuary, and a standard that you make possible. Scarlet stomping around. Olivia, do you have any kind of final thoughts as we wind down our live today? I know Facebook is so funky, and I will always prefer to have a live conversation, but overall we've been seeing a bunch of cats. We've been, of course, talking about our small cat track roof goal for this week of Miracle Match. There's caretaker Elise doing more behind-the-scenes work for potential future friendships, potential future miracle matches here at the sanctuary. So maybe we didn't get to carry on our conversation as I like having, but we still had a good live post. We still got to check in with some of the rescues that you do so much to support, and some kind of fresh-ish faces for some live, alive. I think it's good to see the Caracals out welcoming spring. Nunda, Phoenix, and Lizzie's group, I could hardly keep up with them. They're also, look at, who is this?
I think it's
Lizzie doing some rubbing.
Well, I was just going to say, I think it's fitting that we kind of started with a chaotic caracal party, Thane and all of his zoomies. Then we've kind of been winding it down, and we're over here to the oldest group here at Small Cat Track. So, if anything, it's not only a literal full circle that we've done today, but maybe full circle in the sense of this roof that we're asking for your help with. This is the longest standing cat building here at the sanctuary. Mm-hmm. And Nunda and Phoenix have been under this roof for literally their entire time at this site. So I think it's worth acknowledging that from cats like Thane, who are maybe relatively newer to sanctuary, the past 2 years, the Caracals, all the way over to this group have been benefiting from your support for so many years. And then the physical things that you support, like a roof over their head. So,
wow.
I know, it's kind of poetic. It means a lot to me. I know it means a lot to Judson, and it means a lot to all of us, your support, because it quite literally makes moments like this possible.
Yeah, that's pretty profound, Olivia. We talk about lifelong care and acknowledging the fact that, Phoenix and cats like Phoenix and Nunda who have been here for a longer time, who are at a different stage in their life, and how this building has been able to serve them. And, for it to kind of be a blueprint or a roadmap for a cat like Thane, and knowing that with that same exact care, they're going to also have a fulfilled and compassionate life like those two Servals. So, Wow, what, I think I might have to nominate you for the Pulitzer Prize with that conclusion, Miss Olivia.
Maybe the cat version, yeah.
The Purlitzer
Prize.
Prize. I want to try to get a dose of Miss Lizzie.
Enjoying the sun here.
Getting fresh with some grass over here. I see you doing some rubbing, Miss Lucy. Or, not Lucy, Lizzie, I apologize. But that might be a good little conclusion here. But typical cat, she says, well, yeah, I might have been rubbing, but I'm not rubbing
Not
no more.
anymore.
Well, it's Wednesday, Olivia. We are halfway through the week. As always on Wednesday, we're going to be posting our wish list later today. 2 wish lists, a Chewy wish list and a Amazon wish list, both chock full of items that are oh so important to not just cats, but the people here too. So thank you for taking a look at that later today.
Yeah, and arguably, that Chewy wish list, just know those Chewy boxes go out to the cats too.
Exactly.
So.
Just like your cat get to enjoy a Chewy delivery with what's the contents inside the box and the box itself. That goes for our rescues too. And then Thursday, we can expect a Wildcat wrap-up from Tammy, of course, which will be fun for everyone. I know I look forward to those wrap-ups as well, because I find them just as informative, and I'm here at the sanctuary every day. But nonetheless, Olivia, I think just a good rest of the week we have laid out in front of us as we count down to the conclusion of Miracle Match.
Exactly.
Alrighty, everyone. I want to thank you for tuning in to today's live post. A fairly cat-filled live post, so maybe you tuned in partway through the live and you want to see the full thing, and I highly encourage you to do so. So thank you again for tuning in today. Thank you for helping us with yet another Miracle Match goal, and knowing that goal is just that much easier to achieve with triple donations enacted. So, Olivia,
Judson.
Thank you for tuning in, and we will see you back here at the Wildcat Sanctuary tomorrow.
Bye, everyone.